Very much, Dr. Harris, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for sharing time with us. Dr. Harris, thank you very much for starting with the vision for success and just reiterating that really is the impetus for this wonderful collaboration that we have had with Q and this wonderful series that we have had. This is the final webinar in this 6-part series, and I think it's very appropriate that we are concluding with this topic. One, given in light of things that have happened in the last few weeks, right? Sort of the racial violence that has taken place in our nation over the last few weeks. But I think this is also the right topic to conclude with, because as you'll hear, as Dr. Harris and Dr. Wood dig into the content for today, we're really highlighting an area where we can all have an immediate impact. It's one of those things that doesn't cost any money, and it's something that we can immediately implement within our classrooms and on our campuses, and that is demonstrating authentic care for our students. So as I thought about the topic for today, Maslow's hierarchy of needs immediately came to mind. For those who don't know me, having just joined the Chancellor's Office in March, I am by trade a faculty member and a researcher. And so Maslow's hierarchy of need has been sort of a guiding philosophy for me in terms of my own educational philosophy. And I'm sure most of us are probably familiar with Maslow, but briefly for whom this might be the first time you're seeing this, what has always drawn me to this theory was this idea that as human beings, we all share a set of core psychological needs. And in this theory, Maslow really posited that as human beings seek to get these needs met, that they're going to do them in hierarchical order, right? That first a person is going to be focused on their basic needs, and until they can meet those needs, they won't really have the psychological or emotional bandwidth to move up the ladder in the hierarchy and focus on those other needs. Next slide, Frank. So for me, I've always believed, and I know there are some theorists who have argued this, that the focus on academic achievement would really fall within those esteem needs. And it became very sort of striking to me when I was in grad school and thinking through that below that are these needs for love and belonging. And it really became a guiding principle for me in my educational philosophy that in order for students to engage in academic achievement, they would first need to have their needs for belonging and love met. Next slide. And so for me, I've really honed in on this idea of acceptance and belonging. There's a lot of research on the importance of belongingness for students. And in particular, I like to think of this in terms of a form of ensuring students' identity safety, right? How do we create a self-affirming internal narrative for our students? And research has clearly shown that when students experience identity safety, when they feel welcome, when they feel accepted, when they feel that they belong, and when they feel that every element of themselves, including their racial self, is accepted and belongs in our classrooms and on our campuses, we see clear evidence that they have a greater capacity to access instruction and to interact with curriculum. We see evidence that it provides a sense of competence and worth for students. A sense of high belonging is related to higher academic achievement, seems to inoculate students against the impact of challenges so that they're less likely to fall into learned helplessness and more likely to persist when they face challenges. And there's also evidence that a strong sense of belonging for our students within our academic institutions can help to mitigate against the impacts of stereotype threat. So as we launch into this conversation and think about how do we do that? How do we create environments of acceptance and belonging for our students so that they can thrive? That's exactly what Dr. Harris and Dr. Wood will talk to you about in this topic of authentic care. I'm excited for today's content. I think it's very timely, very necessary, and hope that you will engage with us conscientiously in this discussion and really be thinking about how you can implement this immediately in the work that you're doing with students. Thank you, Dr. Harris.